But let's move on to the next thing, and that is some of these things with the Lyft TOS is updating and changing.
Yeah.
So we're going to
So
put
as of
the
yesterday, what's today? To 13th. As of yesterday, there's a new Lyft TOS that's out there. TOS meaning terms of service. In order for you to, we're going to keep this short. So we're going to put the links up there. Those 3 links should be in the show notes. The first one is arbitration opt-out at lyft.com. They have buried the shit out of this, of course, because they want to force you into arbitration. As of yesterday, if you do sign, obviously you have to sign the arbitration clause or the new TOS to be able to drive. You know how they are, right? You have to first say, yes, I agree. But you have 30 days to opt out. If you don't opt out in 30 days and there's a class action, you're not going to be part of it, number one, and you're going to be forced to arbitration, which you do not want. You definitely want to opt out of the new TOS. It does not get you any flags. I have done it as long as I can remember it, and I'm still around. So do not be fearful of sending. And the instructions are very clear how to do this. Please go to this site and opt out. If you don't want to go to the opt out, you're going to lose your chances of being part of a class action lawsuit. And we know these companies get sued right and left. So you have 30 days to do this from yesterday. It started yesterday. Today is the 13th. The other thing is I saw this change, which I put up, which I didn't really get this, but it says, by becoming a user, you represent a warrant that you're at least 18 years old. Okay, this goes to the minor unit, right, Chris? Picking up minors.
Yep.
Notwithstanding
So
the
anybody
foregoing,
under 18.
yeah, but it says, look what it says there. Notwithstanding the foregoing, if you are the parent or legal guardian of a 16 or 17-year-old minor, you may create a user account for such minor. I'm going like, and then if you keep reading, it doesn't give you the answers. Like, should we pick up a 16, 17-year-old? Because the parent, how do we know the parent created that goddamn account, right? So I'm not sure about this one. So you guys have to kind of figure this out on your own.
Well, it says right here in D, it says you ensure that the minor does not request or accept any rideshare services unless accompanied by you or an authorized guardian. So that means that there's still no unaccompanied minors when it comes to this. This is more for like scooters and shit like that. And then having somebody who's over 18. Why? So it says
why
for
allow
clarity,
the
no one
parent to create an account though? Why allow, right?
may ride an autonomous vehicle.
Yeah. Why allow the parent to create an account for a 16 or 17-year-old minor? I'm like, I'm not sure. I wouldn't even
Beyond
do
that, I don't know.
Yeah.
No, who knows? Maybe they're trying to switch it. Maybe they're trying to get it to that. But as far as I know, they've had this pretty much in there where you could create it for a minor at 16 or 17, basically for the scooters. And that was it. I think they're just clarifying that.
This was not part of the scooter part. This is part of the 28 pages that goes with into the eligibility of the driver. I mean, of the passenger who's eligible, who's not eligible. So that's, to me, it was a little confusing, but if you guys get it, you get it. But first thing first, please go immediately opt out. We can go to the next page. Oh, hold on. The disclaimers part. This is interesting. In bold letters.
Yeah.
The Lyft does not provide transportation services. Okay, fuck, we understand that. And Lyft is not a transportation carrier. Okay, you're a technology company. I get that too. Okay, bullshit, but I get it. Lyft.
We Zoom. Thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it.
Yes, smash. Thank you. Hey, man, green screen is working. Lyft is not a common carrier or public carrier. Well, we kind of seem like with those lowball offers, we feel like we're doing charity work, public carrier. So I'm going like, okay. Now, this is the good one right here. So please stop sending me those emails. What if my acceptance rate goes down? Are they going to deactivate me? Right here, it says right here. It is up to the driver to decide whether or not to offer a ride, by the way, offer now. Under both TOSs now, the passenger is your client. You are, as a driver, Lyft's client, okay? So the passenger is your client. Although they're in the middle, they say they are merely an agent collecting a commission. That's all they're doing in the TOS. Now it says here, it is up to the driver to decide whether or not to offer a ride to a rider contacted through the Lyft platform. And it is up to the rider to decide whether or not to accept a ride. So basically, they're aggregating rides. We, as drivers, are offering the passenger a ride, and the passenger is accepting. Lyft is just standing by to see how much the ride is going to cost, because if I was offering a ride to the rider, I wouldn't price it that way, Lyft. I would price it much differently. Still, you know what I'm saying? But so here, clearly, day and night, it says, it's up to us to offer a ride or not. Okay. I'm not offering a ride at that price because you're in the middle of me and my passenger, my customer. You're in there somehow. I don't know why. You're naming the price of the trip, right? So the next step that's going to come onto these guys is going to be this exactly. Because as an independent contractor, I should be able to price my own trips. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Yeah, I like the next part though that's highlighted. It says we cannot guarantee that each rider or driver is who he or she claims to be. Please use common sense when using the platform, service, third-party service, and rideshare services, including looking at photos of the driver or rider, which not all of them have them, you've matched with, to make sure it's the same individual you see in person. So that means that they should probably roll out pictures to all passengers as well, too, just so you know exactly who you're taking. But it says, please note that there are also risks dealing with underage persons or people acting under false pretense. So here you go. And we do not accept the responsibility or liability for any content, communication, or other use or access of the Lyft platform by persons under the age of 18 in violation of the agreement. We encourage you to communicate directly with each potential driver or rider prior to engaging in an arranged transportation service.
Okay,
so right
thank
there
you,
again,
Rational.
that is them saying that.
Yeah, thank you, Rational Driver. Yeah.
What's up? Thank you. Appreciate the super chat.
we need to like put the link on this one. You have the link, right? Just stick it on the.
Yeah, it'll be in after the once the show ends. We'll put the links in.
Okay, we'll put the show ends. Yeah. So now this one is also caught my eye, which there is no change. I actually went back to the old TOS, which was on my Google Docs. For you guys, 28 pages of this garbage I had to read. Okay, just to see what the difference were. Okay. Now look at this one. Lyft does not. This is the last paragraph, although the second paragraph is worth reading too, by the way. Okay, but let's go to the bold part. Lyft does not and shall not be deemed to direct or control you generally or in your performance under this agreement, specifically, including in connection with your provision of rideshare services, your acts or omissions, blah, blah, blah. So Lyft does, who in the chat feels like Lyft does not and shall not be deemed direct or control you? Huh? How many?
Raise your hand. Raise your hand.
Me. You guys control me pretty well. I'm under your spell.
Yeah, David Pride. TOS is terms of service for Lyft.
Yeah, TOS.
This is what we're talking about. Lyft just came out with a new one.
Terms of service, yes, David Pride. So we put acronyms on stuff because we're so used to it, by the way. So here you go. I mean, they go, we're not in control. Okay. But then, like the other gentleman said, remember, he says, oh, they're sending me threatening emails. Well, Lyft, if you're not under control, why are you sending that guy threatening emails?
I mean, that's a direct contradiction right there, isn't it?
Yeah, typical. You know, this is so when we do this, when we nail them, right? I mean, I'm not going to get into it, but not Chris. But you know, when we nail them, then they go, "Oh, boo, Serge, you shouldn't have said that." I go, "It's right here. I mean, I can read English. Anybody else can read English. It says right here, I'm not in control of you." Okay, and the last sentence: you retain the option to accept or decline or ignore a rider's request for rideshare services via the Lyft platform, or cancel an accepted request for rideshare services. Well, thank you, Lyft. Much appreciated. Right here again.
There's a little more to that.
Yeah, and then subject to Lyft's then current cancellation policies. Okay, I got your cancellation policies. Lyft does not and shall not be deemed to require you to accept any specific request for rideshare services. So here you go, people. We can decline garbage all we want right here. Now, if they say deactivate it because of some bullshit reason, you go, hey, man, let's go to arbitration or let's go to class action because that's in your latest TOS as of December 12th. You showed us to a lawyer. It goes up. They deactivated me for declining a trip. But look what it says here. Nail their asses to the wall. There you go. Okay.
Now let's talk about the next part, which is the arbitration. So if you wanted to opt out, this is up to you if you want to or not. Again, this is something that if you do, you have to do it like a specific way. And this is obviously buried in the TOS. It's usually in the last couple of pages. Right. So basically it's just before the first paragraph, you have to have it signed, delivered by electronic mail to arbitrationoptout@lyft.com. It says, in order to be effective, the writing must be clear. The writing must clearly indicate your intent to opt out of the arbitration agreement with respect to driver claims that are not part of a pending settlement action. B, the writing must include the name, phone number, and email address associated with your user account. And C, the email containing the signed writing must be sent within 30 days after the date this agreement is executed by you. Should you not opt out within the 38-day period, you and Lyft shall be bound by the terms of the arbitration agreement in full, including with respect to the driver claims that are not part of a pending settlement action, as provided in paragraph 17I above. Any opt-out that you submit shall not apply to any driver claims that are pending, part of a pending settlement action, and your driver claims in any such pending settlement action shall continue to be governed by the arbitration provisions that are contained in the applicable Lyft terms of use that you agreed to prior to the effective date of this agreement.
Yes, please opt out. Please opt out. Please opt out. We're going to put the links in the show notes after the show or during the show. We're going to even put the links there. I'm telling you, this is a must. Okay. So, and then there was this new change that because upfront fare showed up. So it says in select markets at Lyft discretion, the fare you will receive for a ride will be quoted to you before you accept a ride request, quote unquote, the upfront driver fare. The upfront driver fare may be calculated using several factors, which we talked about to no end. You know, the density of drivers, where you're going, all this bullshit. So they had to put this in there to cover their ass because, you know, now we have upfront driver fares as opposed to miles and minutes because it doesn't. We don't live by miles and we're not in the transportation business. We drive cars, but we're not in there. We drive cars, but miles and minutes are not important. I'm like, okay, whatever. So again, I just put this in there because this was another change from the old TOS to this new TOS. And lastly, here it goes. It says, Lyft will collect payments owed to you, meaning by your customer, the rider, right? They owe to you. They will collect, and they will pass it on to you, other third parties, as your limited payment collection agent. So Lyft is just a limited payment collection agent, people. The passenger is your customer, your Lyft customer. Lyft is playing agent. Sometimes they charge 50%. Sometimes they charge 20%. Sometimes they lose money. Sometimes they charge 80%. Look, we've seen some of those screenshots where they're charging $300 and paying the driver $40, right? I'm like, eh. So there you go. Lyft has no control over you, according to this. I mean, this is English. This is legal shit. I mean, they paid a shit ton of money for a lawyer to do this, right? So here you go. Because right here, it says right here, we have nothing. We're just a payment collection agency. And you agree that the residual shall payment by Lyft satisfies the payer's obligation to you. So the passenger is your customer. They're also, by the way, taking away some liability issues out of this because saying that, hey, man, the passenger was your customer, has nothing to do with me. Although I onboarded that passenger to my platform, fully well knowing he may have been a criminal. Oh, really? Well, we're going to talk about that in the next segment. So here you go. They go like, hey, hands off. We got nothing to do with it. We're just a collection agent in between. You know, last time I checked, Chris, agents only took like 10% from like basketball players and stuff. So I guess we're not there.
It depends. I mean, there's a going rate. Sometimes it's actually more. Sometimes it can be like 40, 50%.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go, man. There you go. So Mike Smith, I'm gonna have to talk to you. So yeah, I mean, this is more stuff that I found different. So I just put them up for Chris to do the stuff. I'm telling you, this clearly says, if you didn't get anything out of this, it says three things. You can willy-nilly decline all the trips you want because they're not in control. And it says it clearly in bold letters that you can decline trips. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. And if you get those emails, say, go F yourself, Lyft. And then Lyft is just a mere collection agent, and the passenger is your customer, your Lyft customer. Okay, there you go.
All right, thanks for watching. That short little clip was from our live stream, Show Me the Money Club with Sergio and myself, Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Make sure you subscribe, turn on all notifications so you'll be notified when we go live, as well as all of our awesome content. Make sure to check out this video right here, which will take you to the entire live stream, or check out this video right there. All right, drive smart, everyone.